You know, there's a funny thing that happens when you turn 60. People suddenly want to tell you all the things you can't do anymore. Maybe you've heard it yourself at a family dinner. Someone leans in, lowers their voice, and asks with a grin, "So, how's everything working?" They might laugh, but there's something a little too curious in their eyes. And if you're a man over 60, you know what they're really getting at. Let's be honest. Nobody likes to talk about it out loud, but the truth is, sexual health matters at every age. And if you're here today, it's because you know deep down that just because you've got a little gray in your hair, doesn't mean you want to give up a part of life that brings so much joy and connection. I remember a patient who first came into my clinic about a year ago. Let's call him Frank. Frank was 71, retired, sharp as a tack, and loved his morning walks. But he wasn't smiling much. One afternoon, he pulled me aside after his regular checkup and said, "Doc, I'm just not feeling like myself. I still want to enjoy time with my wife, but things aren't working the way they used to." Frank was embarrassed. He'd never talked about it with anyone before, not even his friends. He thought maybe it was just the way life goes after 60. But here's what I told him, and what I want you to know right from the start. There's nothing embarrassing about wanting a rock-solid, healthy sex life after 60. In fact, it's a sign you're still living, still connected, and still care about yourself and your relationships. For those of you joining us for the first time, my name is Dr. Nolan Easton. I've been a men's health specialist for over 30 years. In that time, I've seen every worry, every question, and every myth about erections that you can imagine. I've helped thousands of men just like you, men who want to stay vibrant, healthy, and, yes, sexually confident no matter their age. Today, we're diving into something most folks never think about when it comes to erections: the power of the right vegetables. That's right. There are certain veggies that can absolutely transform blood flow, hormone balance, and stamina, making a real difference where it counts. Now, you might be rolling your eyes and thinking, "Veggies, doc? Are you serious?" But stick with me here. I've spent decades studying how what we eat directly affects our bodies, especially the parts of our bodies we often take for granted. The good news is, even small changes can have a huge impact. In fact, for men over 60, a few specific vegetables have been shown to help create and maintain rock-hard erections naturally, safely, and without any of those embarrassing side effects you might get from pills or chemicals. Just imagine waking up in the morning and actually feeling good about what your body can do. No more hesitation, no more frustration, just the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're in control. That's the real promise here. So if you've felt embarrassed, discouraged, or just tired of feeling like your best days are behind you, let me tell you, they're not. There's plenty of life left to live, and plenty of ways to reignite that spark, starting right in your kitchen. I know many of you are watching because you're looking for something simple, natural, and effective. Maybe you've tried a few pills. Maybe you've read every secret on the internet and still felt let down. But let me tell you what really works, based on both real science and decades of experience as a doctor working with men just like you. Your body is not broken, it just needs the right fuel. And some of that fuel comes from foods you may already have in your fridge or can pick up on your next trip to the store. Now, before we get into the nuts and bolts, or should I say, the stalks and leaves, of what to eat for better erections, I want to thank you for being here. These conversations aren't always easy, but they're important. In my own practice, I've seen men come in feeling ashamed, only to walk out feeling like a new person after just a few months of the right changes. That's why I do what I do. I want to see you thriving, not just surviving. And if what I share today helps you feel even a little more confident, a little more yourself, then it's worth every minute. If this message is already resonating with you, even just a little, would you mind giving this video a like? Maybe subscribe if you haven't already, and tap that little bell so you don't miss any new advice I share. I read every single comment, so if you feel comfortable, leave a yes or no in the comments to let me know if you're ready to try something new. Your feedback helps me tailor this advice to what you really need. Let's circle back to Frank for a moment. When he first told me his story, I could see the frustration in his eyes. He loved his wife. He wanted intimacy, but his confidence was shot. Like so many men, he was worried that nothing would help. "It's just my age, doc," he'd say, waving his hand like the whole thing was hopeless. But after listening to his concerns, I ran a few tests, looked over his lifestyle, and quickly saw something that's true for so many older men. His diet was holding him back. Years of eating the same way, lots of comfort foods, not a whole lot of greens, and plenty of starchy sides. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. Your body is like a classic car. It needs the right fuel, regular care, and a little tune-up now and then. And when you start giving it what it really craves, especially certain power-packed vegetables, the results can be pretty amazing. Frank was skeptical at first, but we made a few changes, nothing drastic. We started with just a handful of veggies that target blood flow, hormone support, and overall energy. Within a few weeks, he started to notice something. Morning stiffness was coming back, his energy levels were up, and for the first time in a long time, he felt hopeful about the future. It's stories like Frank's that remind me why these conversations matter. Because eating for sexual health isn't just about what happens in the bedroom. It's about feeling strong, vital, and connected to the people you love. It's about knowing that age doesn't get to define your happiness, your relationships, or your sense of self. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need a complicated plan or an expensive prescription to start seeing changes. Sometimes, all it takes is opening your mind, making a few small adjustments, and letting your body do the rest. Now, you might be wondering, which veggies are actually going to help? Well, I want to walk you through what makes these foods so special, why they work, and how you can easily include them in your daily meals, without feeling like you're on a rabbit food diet. Remember, this isn't about giving up everything you love. It's about adding a few key foods that can boost your health, improve your confidence, and maybe even help you feel decades younger, right where it counts. And here's something you might not expect. The vegetables that support sexual health aren't weird, hard-to-find foods. In fact, they're the same veggies that support your heart, your blood pressure, and your brain. That's no accident. The systems in your body that control erections are the same ones that keep your heart pumping and your mind sharp. So when you eat for better erections, you're also eating for a longer, healthier, and more vibrant life overall. So, as we continue this conversation, I want you to really think about how good you could feel if you just gave your body a little extra support. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing a man who feels strong, energized, and proud of what his body can do. Imagine the smile on your partner's face when you bring a little more excitement and connection back into your relationship. That's not wishful thinking, it's a real possibility, and it starts with what you put on your plate. I know change isn't always easy, especially when it comes to food. But I promise, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. No judgment, no pressure, just honest advice from someone who's been helping men like you for more than 3 decades. If you've ever wondered if there was something simple you could do to feel like yourself again, you're in the right place. So take a deep breath, pat yourself on the back for being open to learning, and know that you're not alone on this journey. Your best days are still ahead, and with a few simple tweaks, you can start feeling the difference faster than you might think. Now, let's really dig into the heart of this conversation. What's actually happening inside your body after 60? And why do certain vegetables make such a dramatic difference for your erections? I think it helps to understand that a man's body doesn't simply run out of steam with age. There are actual, physical changes in circulation, hormones, and even nerve function. Most men, like Frank, who I mentioned earlier, assume it's just part of getting older, or maybe that they're unlucky. But so much of it is rooted in the way our blood flows, how flexible our blood vessels are, and whether we're fueling our bodies with the right nutrients. Let's go back to Frank for a moment. After his first appointment, I explained to him what I want to explain to you right now. Erections are, at their core, a blood flow event. Think of it as a plumbing issue. If your pipes are clear and your pump is strong, everything works like it should. But after years of enjoying hearty, comforting meals, many men develop a bit of rust in the system. Plaque buildup in the arteries, less flexible vessel walls, and sluggish blood circulation. Add to that the drop in testosterone and the stress of modern life, and it's no wonder things aren't as easy as they used to be. Now, here's the part that surprises most men. The very same foods that keep your arteries healthy and clean can directly support healthy erections, because it's all about blood flow. Frank was intrigued, and maybe you are too. So, Doc, you're saying if I eat more greens, things might perk up? I remember he gave me a skeptical look, but there was hope in his voice. I nodded. That's exactly what I'm saying, Frank. But not just any greens. we need the real power veggies. I'll tell you what I told him. Vegetables like spinach, beets, arugula, and broccoli are loaded with compounds called nitrates, antioxidants, and phytonutrients. These aren't fancy words for health nuts, these are nature's little miracle workers. When you eat them, they help widen your blood vessels, relax artery walls, and boost nitric oxide. That's the very chemical your body uses to create firm, long-lasting erections. It's like upgrading from a tired old garden hose to a brand new one. Suddenly, the pressure is back, the flow is strong, and things work the way they're supposed to. Frank wasn't sure at first. Can a salad really do all that? He asked, half joking, half hopeful. I encouraged him to try it for a month. We started simple. Adding a handful of spinach to his morning eggs, roasting broccoli with dinner, and slicing up a beet to go with his lunchtime sandwich. Nothing drastic, just small, doable changes. Within a couple of weeks, he called me, a little sheepish but also excited. "Doc, I'm starting to notice some changes in the mornings," he said, with a chuckle. "It's been a long time since I felt this way. I see this kind of transformation all the time, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. You might not think of vegetables as manly food, but in my 3 decades as a urologist, I can tell you they're one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal for maintaining healthy erections, without any embarrassing side effects or awkward trips to the pharmacy. And the best part is, this isn't just about the bedroom. When you improve blood flow for sexual health, you're also protecting your heart, your brain, and your overall energy. It's all connected, and the benefits go way beyond what most people expect. Some men ask me, "Dr. Easton, is it too late to start?" I've never been much of a vegetable guy. My answer is always the same: it's never too late. Your body is amazingly resilient. With just a little care and the right nutrients, your blood vessels can regain flexibility, your circulation can improve, and you can feel a spark you thought was long gone. I've had patients in their 70s and 80s make these changes and tell me, "Doc, I wish I'd known this 20 years ago." I want to take a moment to speak directly to you, man to man, as someone who's helped thousands of men navigate these same worries. If you're watching and thinking, "That sounds nice, but I don't know if it'll work for me," I encourage you to just give it a try. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. Start with a few small changes. Maybe swap out one side dish for steamed broccoli, or add a few slices of beet to your lunch. These are realistic, sustainable steps that add up over time. And let's not forget, eating these power veggies isn't just good for you. It can be a shared experience. I often suggest couples prepare meals together, explore new recipes, and turn healthy eating into a way to reconnect. Frank's wife started joining him for those veggie-packed breakfasts, and soon she noticed her own energy improving. They began taking evening walks again, laughing together like they hadn't in years. That's the real reward. Not just firmer erections, but a deeper sense of connection and vitality in every part of life. If you're finding any of this advice helpful or encouraging, please hit that like button, and consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss another tip. And, as always, leave me a yes or no in the comments. Let me know if this is the kind of advice you want to see more of. I read your comments, and it truly does help me tailor these videos to what matters most to you. Now, you might wonder, what about those pills I see advertised everywhere? Can't I just take one of those and skip the veggies? It's a fair question, and while those pills can offer short-term help, they come with risks, side effects, interactions with other medications, even sudden drops in blood pressure. Worse, they do nothing to address the root cause: poor circulation and weak vessel health. They're a quick fix, not a lasting solution. If you want real, lasting change, food is the foundation. And the best part? You're also supporting your overall health, lowering your blood pressure, protecting your heart, and even sharpening your memory, just by making a few simple swaps in your diet. Frank is a great example of how these changes pay off. Within 2 months, not only did his erections become firmer and more reliable, but he had more energy for the things he loved: walking, gardening, and spending time with his grandkids. His mood lifted, he laughed more, and, yes, his relationship with his wife blossomed. She told me one day, "Thank you, Dr. Easton. I feel like I have my husband back." That's why I'm so passionate about sharing this message, because it's about so much more than just the physical. It's about regaining confidence, happiness, and connection. The beauty of these changes is that they're accessible to everyone, no matter where you start or what your health history is. You don't have to become a chef or shop at fancy stores. Start with what's available at your local grocery store or farmer's market. Spinach, beets, arugula, and broccoli are easy to find and can be prepared in dozens of delicious ways. If you're not sure where to begin, just pick one veggie and add it to one meal a day. Your body will thank you, and you might be surprised by how quickly you notice the difference. I hope this message gives you hope and encouragement. I want you to see yourself not as a victim of age, but as a man who still has a lot of living and loving left to do. Remember, you're never too old to make a change. Your best years can be ahead, and all it takes is a willingness to try something new. So, if you're ready, join me on this journey. Make a commitment to yourself to give your body the fuel it needs to thrive. Your confidence, your energy, and your relationships are worth it. And I'm here to guide you every step of the way. One thing I always remind my patients is that transformation doesn't happen overnight, but small steps truly add up. It was no different for Frank. At first, he hesitated to change old habits. He'd been enjoying meat and potatoes for decades, and while he liked the idea of feeling younger and more confident, he worried about what he might have to give up. That's a concern many men share. But I want you to know, this isn't about sacrifice, it's about adding a few new habits that give you something even greater in return. Think of it as investing in yourself and your relationship. When Frank agreed to give those power veggies a real shot, he decided to start simple. We looked for the easiest, least intimidating ways to get them into his daily routine. One morning, instead of his usual toast and jam, he scrambled a couple of eggs and tossed in a handful of fresh spinach. He found it didn't change the taste much, but it made his breakfast a lot more satisfying. At lunch, his wife suggested they roast some broccoli to go with their chicken. Nothing fancy, just olive oil, a sprinkle of pepper, and into the oven it went. They tried adding thin slices of beet to salads, and even tossed a handful of arugula onto their sandwiches. Slowly but surely, their plates began to look a little greener, and their bodies responded. What's interesting about these power veggies, spinach, beets, arugula, broccoli, is that they contain nutrients that are especially important for men over 60. They're rich in nitrates and antioxidants, but they also contain magnesium, potassium, and vitamin C. These nutrients work together to relax blood vessels, reduce inflammation, and help blood flow more freely throughout the body, including to those areas that matter most for a healthy, firm erection. You don't have to understand all the science to appreciate the benefits, but I want you to know there's real, proven power in these foods. Frank wasn't the only one who saw changes. His wife noticed he was more energetic and slept better. He even mentioned his afternoon slump started to disappear. That's something I hear all the time from patients who embrace this simple shift. The same foods that help with erections often boost overall energy, memory, and even mood. He felt more confident and less anxious. And when those intimate moments came up, he no longer worried about disappointment. Instead, he felt capable, something every man deserves to experience at any age. Another thing I want to stress is how easy it can be to fit these veggies into your routine. You don't have to eat salads 3 times a day unless you want to. Steamed broccoli makes a quick side dish. Beets can be roasted or sliced thin for a sandwich. Spinach wilts down quickly into soups or omelets. Arugula brings a nice peppery bite to pizza or even pasta. There's no need to get fancy or spend hours in the kitchen. Just find what works for you and stick with it. Some men tell me they're worried their partners won't be interested in these changes. But what I see, time and time again, is that couples who make these shifts together often grow even closer. Preparing meals can be a way to reconnect, to share laughs in the kitchen, and to build healthier habits as a team. Frank and his wife started taking short evening walks, enjoying more time together, and celebrating the changes they were seeing, not just in the bedroom, but in every part of their life. They both said they felt more like themselves, more like the team they'd always been. Remember, no one is too old to feel strong, energetic, and connected. The world may try to tell you otherwise, but you don't have to accept it. Your best years can still be ahead, and small, positive changes, like eating the right veggies, can set the stage for the kind of vitality and intimacy you deserve. Now, I know some of you are still on the fence, thinking, "Doc, I've tried making changes before, and nothing stuck." I get it, habits are hard to break, and sometimes progress comes in fits and starts. But the key is to keep going. Don't give up on yourself. You deserve to feel confident and proud of your body. Even if you have a setback, that doesn't mean you've failed, it just means you're human. Pick up where you left off, and keep moving forward. I've seen men who struggled for years finally find their stride, all because they chose not to give up. And if you ever feel discouraged, remember Frank's story. He started small, felt awkward, and doubted himself, but he didn't quit. A few months down the line, not only were his erections firmer, but his relationship had grown deeper, and he'd found a new sense of pride in taking charge of his health. That's a gift that's available to every man who decides he's worth the effort. If you're willing to give it a try, I'll be right here with you. Leave a comment letting me know what's holding you back or what's working for you. Your feedback shapes the advice I share. And who knows, your story could be the encouragement another man needs to get started on his own journey to better health and happiness. There's no magic pill, but there is a clear, natural path forward. With a little curiosity, a willingness to try new things, and a bit of patience, you can see real, lasting change. Your confidence, your relationships, your quality of life, they're all worth this small investment. You're not alone, and together, we can make these years truly golden. As I reflect on Frank's journey and the many men I've helped over the years, I'm reminded of something important. Real transformation is about more than just following advice. It's about believing you deserve to thrive, no matter your age. I want to leave you today with encouragement, hope, and a sense of possibility. So many men over 60 settle for less, thinking their best days are behind them. But with just a handful of power-packed veggies added to your meals, your story can change. You can reclaim energy, restore intimacy, and step back into the confident, vital man you've always been at heart. Frank's story isn't unique. After sticking with his new habits for a few months, he came in for a follow-up appointment, walking taller and grinning from ear to ear. He told me, "Doc, I feel like I've turned back the clock. My wife and I are enjoying life again in every way, and I can honestly say I haven't felt this good in years." That's the kind of result that makes all the difference, not just for him, but for his partner, his family, and even his own outlook on aging. That transformation, that return to living fully, is what I want for each and every one of you watching today. As a doctor, nothing brings me more joy than seeing men rediscover their strength, connection, and enthusiasm for life. And it's incredible how quickly things can improve when you take those first small steps. By adding spinach to your omelets, tossing broccoli with your dinner, trying roasted beets with lunch, or spicing up a sandwich with arugula, you're not just supporting firmer, more reliable erections. You're giving your whole body a chance to thrive. Blood flows better, your heart is happier, your mind feels sharper, and your energy for life comes surging back. Let's not pretend change is always easy. There will be days when you crave those old comfort foods, or when you wonder if it's really making a difference. But when you stick with it, even on the tough days, you'll notice something remarkable. You wake up feeling stronger, more confident, and more hopeful about the future. Frank told me his biggest regret was not starting sooner. "I wasted so much time thinking there was nothing I could do," he said. But all it took was a little courage to try, and the payoff has been incredible. So here's my invitation. Be courageous for yourself. Give your body what it needs, and let it surprise you. Your age is not a sentence, it's a badge of experience, wisdom, and possibility. You deserve to enjoy every aspect of life, including intimacy. And by simply eating a few more of these power veggies, you can make a real difference, not just for today, but for the years ahead. If this message speaks to you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Tap that bell icon so you'll always know when there's new advice just for you. I truly appreciate your comments. Leave a yes or no below if you're ready to make this small but powerful change. Your feedback means the world to me, and it helps me shape future videos to better support your journey. Let's return one more time to Frank's story, because it's a story I see echoed in so many men who take this advice to heart. When he and his wife started this journey, it wasn't just about sex, it was about regaining confidence, sharing more laughter, and feeling closer than they had in years. And isn't that what we all want? To wake up excited about each day, to share new memories with loved ones, and to know that we're doing everything we can to live our best life? I want you to know I believe in you. Every man watching has the strength inside to make positive changes. You've made it this far, through challenges, changes, and all the ups and downs life brings. This next step is just another chance to prove to yourself what you're capable of. And remember, you're not alone. I'm here with you, rooting for you, and cheering you on every step of the way. If you need a little encouragement, reach out in the comments. Share your story, your hopes, your challenges. Not only do I read every single comment, but you might inspire another man who's feeling uncertain. That's how we build a community of men who look out for one another and celebrate each other's victories, no matter how small they may seem at first. So here's to you, the man who's not done living, not done loving, and certainly not done thriving. Thank you for trusting me, Dr. Nolan Easton, to guide you on this journey. Until next time, keep making those small, powerful choices. Celebrate each win, support one another, and remember, your best days are still to come. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and know that you have what it takes to enjoy rock-hard erections and a vibrant, connected life, at any age. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.